these taxes were done within the legal parameters of the current tax code. But a lot of people are probably wondering how you're able to legally avoid paying taxes for 18 years. So CNN Money correspondent Christina Alesci has been digging into this to get us some answers. What have you learned specifically about what these returns do tell us?
Well, we know that key details are still missing because the New York Times doesn't have Trump's complete tax returns, and CNN can't confirm the authenticity of the documents that it does have. That said, here's what the Times is reporting. Trump declared a loss of $916 million in 1995. That loss could be used to cancel taxable income for potentially up to 18 years. That's according to tax experts the paper hired. That means that even if Trump made $916 million in years after 1995, he could have potentially paid little or no tax on that income. How is this possible? It all comes down to something called a net operating loss, according to the Times. This is how it works. When a business has more taxable expenses than income, you end up with what the IRS calls a net operating loss. Now, people may be asking, if Trump can write off such a large loss over many years, how come I can't do this? Well, most people are thinking about a different kind of deduction called a capital loss deduction. Typically, those are tied to stocks, bonds, and other investments, and there are different rules for those and limits on how you can use them. With Trump, we're most likely talking about loss from operating a business, which is the most common reason for a net operating loss, according to the IRS. Now, if Trump had much of his wealth tied up in these businesses, which it seems like he did, any of those losses in those businesses flow directly to him. So he could use them to reduce his own tax bill in future years. Now, as you mentioned, it's important to note that all of this is allowable under current tax code. And the Trump campaign responded saying the candidate paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes, including property, real estate taxes. But it is not directly denying the Times' reporting, which has to do with federal income taxes.
Okay, so here's another question. Does this tell us that Trump lost all of that money, that $916 million, only in 1995?
Okay, this goes to things that we don't know quite yet. The answer for now is no. Almost $1 billion is a lot of money to lose, and we don't know exactly how it happened and when it happened. We do know, however, as I've been reporting, that his businesses were hurting in the early 90s. The Trump Taj Mahal, the Plaza in New York, for example. Operating losses from those businesses could have been listed on his tax returns in those respective years, earlier, 1992, 91, and he could have carried them over to 1995, the years we're looking at. We actually don't even know if he used those losses to offset income in those years. Tax law says he could, but without the returns from later years, we can't know for sure, and that's the point.
Okay, so did the documents give us any indication of how much Trump really is worth?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question. Look, bigger picture here, the newly published documents don't really offer details at all on Trump's overall net worth. We don't know how much money he's made since 1995 based on these tax documents. Trump's campaign puts his net worth at $10 billion, but an independent analysis at Forbes says he's worth only $3.7 billion. Bloomberg says he's worth $3 billion. And to be clear, tax records don't tell us how much somebody is worth, but they do tell us how much someone made in any given year.
Very good to point out. All right. I know it's complicated. You did a great job breaking that down for us. Christina Alesci, thank you.
Thank you.